in the Middle East, sure, there was some really bad stuff. There's really bad stuff everywhere. And the general attitude of the Middle East and the Chinese people is they have a great affinity for the progress and the culture of our country and our people.
I understand you were fascinated by a recent trip to Saudi?
I've been going there for probably 8 years.
Okay.
Maybe 10 years. You know, in the beginning, being Jewish, you couldn't have an Israeli stamp, and you were nervous about being Jewish. But I went. It was uncomfortable. It's just like my first trip to Germany. Going to Riyadh, I mean, in the beginning, they asked me to speak at a conference the government did, and I was speaking with Carl Lewis, the track star, and we were at the Four Seasons, I think, in Riyadh. I think it might have been my first trip there. And a woman picked me up at the airport is it called a Habib or something? The only thing I could see were her eyes. She escorted me, to the hotel. I had an assistant at the time who was a woman. And we went to dinner in the hotel, and they asked her to not sit with me. She couldn't sit with me because we're not married. And when we spoke in the conference room at the Four Seasons, the women were behind a screen, and the men were on the other side of the screen. And they take 2 questions from the men and 1 question from the woman. And today, if you go to Riyadh, it's a revolution. I mean, women are everywhere. They're in government. They're driving. They're respected. They're educated because they went to school while the men were doing other things oftentimes. And the men know it, so they totally respect the women. And I think across the Middle East, it's been incredibly interesting for me that the Muslim Islamic population there is very hospitable. They are very nice people, and they really invite you in their homes. And I was nervous, obviously. I mean, in fact, my brother, I think it was the Intifada or something, and I sent my brother to sort of meet some people in Saudi, and he was afraid to go back, and I went. I'm like, I feel very safe there. So the October 7th massacre happened, and I had to decide if I was going to go to the FII con. And a lot of my friends who were Jewish didn't go, and I said, I'm going to go. I really feel safe and respected, and they're our partners. And I think that's they understand that in peace is prosperity. Like they're past let's have wars here, and they would like the situation to solve itself. And privately, they recognize that Hamas is not a partner for peace, that they're really just a terrorist organization hell-bent on destroying Israel. And they know there's 7 million Jews there, and that's not going to happen. That'll never happen. So if you're going to have, and they also, I used to wonder, why would they invest with me? I'm Jewish, why would they give me money? They said, they know we're good in business, like many of us, or it's Mark Rowan at Apollo, or Tony Ressler at Ares, or Steve Schwartzman at Blackstone, or even Bruce Flatt these are at Brookfield. These are successful people. Many of them, all of those are Jewish. But in the Middle East, sure, there was some really bad stuff. There's really bad stuff everywhere. And the general attitude of the Middle East and the Chinese people is they have a great affinity for the progress and the culture of our country and our people. So I think pushing them away is a big mistake.